How's it going, guys? So today we're talking about what it's like being on set, and I apologize for the gap in content recently. I actually got invited to go shoot on another set, so I'm kind of talking about what it's like being on set on a commercial and doing some documentary style videos and everything like that. So let's get started. So in order to get on set, it's really hard to just kind of like walk up and be like, hey, can I help you guys out with something? A lot of times they already have their crew and everything like that picked out months ahead of time, even a year, in fact. So you want to start trying to make those connections early with people and just wait for the opportunity to present itself. The person that I was helping on set the last 2 times, somebody I've known for over a year, and there just wasn't really a job that lined up with his schedule where he needed me and that I was able to go to until recently. And then I was able to do these last 2 with him. So it really was nice to get to be on set with him and everything like that. So basically I was doing a lot of grip work for him, and there's a lot of different terms on set whenever you actually get there as far as what individual roles are and then equipment roles. Because if you go from set to set, you're going to find that like sometimes it's called this and sometimes it's called this on set, or sometimes this person's duties isn't quite what you expected. Now, the higher up you go with more professional films and movies and things like that, it's usually a bit more standard. But for like local sets or directors and things like that, it could really start to change. So I did a lot of grip work. Grips are usually more mechanically kind of like help setting everything up. Can help with lighting, electrical stuff. It just really depends, like I said, on the set, how big it is. The smaller the set, the more your duties overlap. So you might be called a gaffer or a grip or an audio technician, AC, things like that, but you might be doing a lot of other things. So I was doing more grip work, hauling gear around, setting up the sets, making sure all the equipment was in the right place. Basically everything that didn't necessarily involve the camera, what I was doing. I did help some with lighting, but that wasn't really part of what I was doing either. I just kind of like set up light stands, put all the lights on, put the extension cords in, hauled all the gear around, balances, flags, things like that. If we needed anything set up or moved, that was what I was doing. Like I said, outside the camera. Didn't do audio either though, so totally different deal. So what is that like? It's really fun, especially if it's something that you kind of want to do. The more involved you get with filmmaking and videos and things like that, the more that you learn and that you can kind of grow. You know, there's a lot of skills and everything that I've learned just doing this grip work the last 2 times, from just seeing what the director and everything like that is doing, how he's directing the talent and how he's setting up the scene with the camera and everything like that, that I can, you know, bring back, apply to my work, or, you know, that way it makes me better the next time. Because the second time around I was helping him, I was, you know, a half step faster. I kind of knew where he would want things, kind of saw what was fixing to happen next, and was able to be there and do things a little bit faster, which made the set go, or the shot go a lot better. So anyways, so you know, like I said, they'll reach out to you hopefully months in advance. Sometimes it can be a week or so in advance to kind of let you know, like, hey, here's tentative schedule. And usually on scheduling, they got that stuff figured out months ahead of time. There might be some slight adjustments day of or week of, just depending on, you know, did this person get called into a meeting? Was there some kind of event that happened that required them to either move up or push back the time or switch with somebody else? So, but usually that stuff's done about a month or so ahead of time. So we kind of get there, and then we got to unload everything from the truck. And usually you want to go in with more stuff than what you think you're going to need. So doing a grip work or things like that, you're going to be hauling a lot more stuff in, depending on if you've seen the inside before. Hopefully you have. If you know what the audio and everything like that's going to be like inside the room, if you know what the lighting's going to be like, do we need a lot of extra extension cords? Do they have plugins readily accessible? And this was my first time inside the building, and I wasn't his first time, but first time since it was finished. So we got everything off the truck, brought it inside, and then it was kind of like, hey, let's go look at locations and everything and try to plan out what gear we're going to need. So from there, we went to all the different places. So I had to like kind of make mental notes about like where the outlets were, where we were going to set the talent at, what all else we were going to need flag wise, balance wise, and things like that. Well, then I have to go back to the cart and start trying to get everything kind of set up and set out to where we can move it easily. It was in a 2-story building, very, very massive from one end to the other. So trying to keep track of like where everything was. And then, talent shows up. We got everything set up for the first set, shoot them. So then it's on me now. So all the director does is like worry about the camera. So everything else is on me. So I got to break down lighting, move lighting over, pick up all the extension cords, pick up any flags that we had set up, bounces, anything that we moved. If we moved chairs or benches or background elements in different ways, I had to keep track of where everything was, move it back. Then I had to move everything to the next location, and then go back and like sweep and make sure that we got everything and nothing was messed up. Because we would like put markers on the ground where we was going to have the talent set and where everything else might be. And then we had to keep making micro adjustments. And there was just not stuff everywhere. But whenever you're doing something like this, you can get stuff kind of like here, there, and everywhere. Because sometimes you might bring something like, hey, I think we're going to need an extra light. So go grab one off the cart. So you go grab an extra light. Like, I don't think we actually need it. So it's there. So that's something else that you got to keep track of for like moving back or taking to the next set and everything like that. So it can get a little kind of exhausting almost. In the beginning it's fun, you're awake, get a lot of energy, and then you're just constantly moving, everything like that. So it was like really fun getting to do that. I also got to help on that one with asking the questions in the interview, because the director wanted them facing certain directions and he wanted them maintaining that level of eye positioning and body positioning and everything. So he had me stand off camera where he wanted me and had me facing them asking the questions. So that was really fun. And then, like I said, it was like breakdown, build up somewhere else. So then we got lunch outside of that, and then we came back, and it's kind of the same thing. But in between lunch, I had to go through and make sure all the gear was on the cart and secured properly, so we could kind of like leave everything where it was, go get lunch because we had it locked and secured, and then come back and then like rebuild everything and put it all back up. There's a lot of little things that like you start to get a hold of, like, making sure the light stands are secured. We got like some BOA bags, which are basically like little what's the word? There's like some nylon bags that are filled with sand that they wrap around the light stand, and they'll hold it in position there. So you got to get those set up every time, and you can't carry it light stand set up. You just want to be really careful. Some lights are really expensive, and that's not okay with some lights. They're not to say they're not expensive, but they're a little bit cheaper, a little bit sturdier, so you can carry them set up. Some lights, like I said, you had to break down and transport them that way. You got to be really careful too, like going through doorways with the legs being spread out so far, and with the height of it being up there. You're going to be kind of careful to make sure that it's not going to hit a doorway or hit the light or something like that. Because if you break a bulb, it's not going to be pretty, especially if you don't have extra bulbs. We didn't have extra bulbs on set. We just had the ones that were inside the actual lights themselves. So they're fine. They're sturdy bulbs and everything like that. But if you were to, hit a doorway going at a pretty good speed, you'd want to be really careful. So, and then like packing everything up. So I got to go and like, sorry, I'm like really concerned about the autofocus since it missed on that last episode. If you haven't seen that, I'm sorry. Or if you have seen it, I'm sorry. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I mean, it wasn't terrible, I don't think. Anyways, so getting back and, getting everything at the end of the day ready. Had to go back through all the different locations, make sure that we got all of our tape up off the ground, make sure we got all our extension cords, the lights, any audio or lighting equipment, like I said, picked up, make sure that there weren't any marks on the floors, and then go load everything back up into the truck. The second time around, we actually had a longer drive, and this was a little bit more laissez-faire almost, so to speak. We got there and everything just kind of like, we knew what we were doing, but the client just kind of rolled ideas in and out as we were kind of like setting up or actually recording and everything like that. So that was fun. So on this one, we did interviews again, and I didn't really have the location set up since either one of us had been to that building. So we're checking lights and I'm hauling gear in and out, and he's kind of like wanting to teach me. So he asked me what my thoughts are on the background, on the lighting, and he has me kind of like go stand there and kind of like give us a look for what the talent might look like standing there. So I got to haul all that gear around. It was another 2-story building. No elevators really either time, so it was like hauling gear up and down stairs a lot. So that was fun and interesting. And then just getting kind of like location scout with him a little bit. And then, like I said, just making sure that everything was put up or in the right place at the right time. Make sure I was always readily available. Because there's times where he's at the camera and he's like, hey, I need another light, or hey, we need a bounce, or hey, can you adjust that, or go get me this from the cart or something like that. So I got to be like kind of paying attention to while trying to like make sure everything's staying secured or in place and whatnot. So the best things that I could say if you want to kind of be on set or do more production and film work and stuff like that is like, you know, I said like put yourself out there, you know, look for any opportunity you can. Be patient because it might be a while because planning does go in months to a year ahead. So be patient. You'll get there, I'm sure. So get there whenever you do. Be early. You know, never, if it starts at 8, show up like 30 minutes early. Because if it starts at 8, you know, oftentimes the director is going to be there and a couple other people. And if you show up exactly at 8, they're wanting to record at 8. So they don't want to have you there at 8 and then you like take 20, 30 minutes to try and get everything set up or moved with them. So get there early, get everything set up with them, you know, and be the person that's always going to like, not to say be a yes man, but yeah, like I can do that for you. Like if it's not something that you signed up for that day, you know, necessarily don't like overwork yourself or work for free. You know, if they're like, hey, can you go get lunch or go get us like coffee out of your own wallet or something like that, you know, don't like put yourself totally out there. But like always try to be like the nice person, like, hey, can I help you? Like I got all this stuff done. Do you need anything else from me? You know, and then that just increases your skill set and puts you more in their mind like, wow, this person really wants to be here, really wants to help. So always be working. Don't really try to like sit down on your phone, do anything, or just kind of like look through a window or whatever. You know, always try to be focused, and especially like on the camera and everything like that, because like you can learn a lot even just from watching other people. Like I said, I learned a lot from this director. You know, you never know like when something might change and he might need something else. So other things that I can say is just like, you know, be careful and like try to think ahead as far as like, you know, this is what that first scene looked like. What are we going to need for that second scene? And if you can be like a half step quicker and get everything set up and ready, that just gets you out of there quicker. And that makes them a lot more comfortable using you because you know what you're doing. And then just like I said, like always be, you know, learning the new terms and things like that for what this director calls it or what, you know, this team calls it or something like that. And then just, you know, be really nice with them. If they want to go get lunch or go get dinner later, you know, like don't be shy or anything like that because you're new. Like go take those opportunities to meet and hang out with them because you never know, like I said, just like that one little connection that might make you a longtime crew member for them and everything like that. Another thing is like don't take up like too much time for you personally. And like this is gonna sound weird, but like, you know, if you're always like, hey, I need to go get something to drink, hey, I need to go to the bathroom or something like that, even though the director might be doing it or the talent might be doing it, if you do it, then like people are gonna notice it more, and that's just a bad thing that I wish wouldn't happen, but they're going to notice if like, oh man, this guy's gone again. We need this moved or we need this set up. You know, if you're always gone and everything like that, even though they'll like, it might be, you know, where we were shooting at the second time around, it was a pretty hot day. So like needed to drink a lot of water. Just got to be careful drinking so much because then would lead to bathroom breaks. And then it's like, okay, who's moving this gear now? Might have the director move it. And then he's not going to be as favorable bringing you back because he knows that you're not going to be there whenever he might need you and things like that. So just be open and realize that like it might just be a stepping stone that you just got to like keep your nose down and get through it and everything like that. But it is really, really fun though. And I really encourage all of you guys, if you haven't been on something like that, just see if there are any shoots in your area that you can just like stay behind the scenes and watch. A lot of people are very open and nice in this industry at that kind of level, so they'll be, you know, a little bit more accepting rather than, you know, some bigger productions and things like that. They might be doing things that they don't want people to quite know about yet. But But for the smaller ones, yeah, it might be something that you could go pick up for a day or two. So how do you guys like the lighting? Am I doing good content here lately? I would really appreciate some feedback. Thank you guys so much for following me this week. So like I said, sorry for the break. I do have a whole lot of exciting things coming up. But if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to try and get back to it as soon as I can. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.